Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kokodash. Double honors. Once again, go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders, Great Millstone, who continue to teach us His truth. Salutations go out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways across the four corners of the earth, preaching this truth, all honesty and sincerity, trying to wake up the remaining, hopefully, light. This article, it's sad, the Jake, it's one of these situations, though it be down in Georgia, Jake just still, at this day and time, does not realize how hated and how much really times have not, and I stress, have not change. There's an expression that says the more things change, the more they remain the same. Well, that applies here. Alright, this is from News One. It says, Judge gives Mark Wilson, and I did a video when this first happened over 2 years ago. It says, gives Mark Wilson the harshest prison sentence possible in Georgia's Stand Your Ground case. And as we've often stated in other examples, that stand your ground does not apply to Jake like it does with Esau. Alright? So, whoever out there that is ignorant, and I'm just going to use that word for lack of knowledge, being at this day and age, with these things like I'm using here to record this, these cell phones, which are miniature computers, you have access to all kinds of information. All right, use it for something that's going to help you. All right, it is a tool. In this case, it would behoove you to do this. This young man. Well, let's go ahead and get into this. This is a young black man who was recently found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in a case that centered on alleged racist road rage, and Georgia Stand Your Ground law was sentenced to the most prison time possible under state law on Tuesday. But see, here's a twist, and we'll get to that. Show you how dirty these Edomites, these so-called white people, are. It says William Marcus Mark Wilson, his nickname, was given the maximum, and that's the Jake right here, was given the maximum 10-year sentence for the killing of Haley Hutchison. And this is really what it's all about. A 17-year-old white girl who was struck by gunfire during an alleged road rage attack in 2020, inspired by anti-black racism. All right. It says the prosecution said Wilson never showed remorse. I wouldn't either. These motherfuckers came after me, bothered me, tried to run me off the road. All right. It says, and requested a sentence of 10. And the audacity for this piece of shit, so-called white man, to request that you show him remorse. That's what really got under my skin after reading this. All right. It says, let's see, let's skip on down. It says state sentencing guidelines recommend prison time for anywhere from 1 to 10 years for an involuntary manslaughter conviction. However, considering Wilson was already held behind bars, all this time, he was behind bars. He never was granted bail. All right. Anyway, it said he was already held behind bars for so long leading up to his trial. His lawyers argued for whatever sentence is imposed to exclude more time behind bars. During the sentencing hearing, lead defense attorney Francis Johnson asked the judge to sentence Wilson as a first offender and as a misdemeanor. Johnson cited Georgia Code to establish a legal precedent for the judge to impose a misdemeanor punishment for felonies carrying prison sentences from 1 to 10 years. So it's on the books. So His defense team brought it up to the judge. Now, here we go. It was not immediately clear whether Wilson's lawyers would appeal the conviction and sentencing. Wilson, 23, arrived at his sentencing hearing having already spent more than 2 years behind bars following the denials of multiple requests for bail stemming from his role in the 2020 death of a 17-year-old white girl. And let's be honest with ourselves. This is the real crime right here. It doesn't matter if we, according to this, possible mindset of them, like, so what if they harassed you and tried to run you off the road? This is a white woman. The usual. Anyway, so it says he maintains he was in self-defense during a road rage attack inspired by inspired by racism. Wilson was acquitted of the most serious charges more than 2 years after he killed Haley Hutchinson with and here's the point, legally owned gun stemming from an encounter on a Statesboro road. A jury decided Wilson's fate after just several hours of deliberations following a trial that lasted less than 2 weeks in Bullock County Superior Court. Wilson, who is a Jake, they say biracial, but we know there's no such thing as biracial. You are what your father is. Was found not guilty of murder and aggravated assault. Here comes this twist. That prompted Wilson's legal team of defense lawyers to decry what they called a miscarriage of justice after their client was not found guilty of any of the charges he was facing in the murder trial. But hold on. Continues on. A 21-year-old Wilson was arrested more than 2 years ago for the fatal shooting at a truckload of belligerent racists trying to run him off the road. His lawyers maintain in the case, it says he was charged with 1 count of felony murder and 1 count of aggravated assault in the death of Hutchinson. Alright, the Edomite girl, who was inside the pursuing truck that defense lawyers said carried white people yelling racial slurs at Wilson and his girlfriend, who just happens to be an Edomite herself. Wilson, who was legally permitted to carry the weapon he said he used to defend himself, argued that he should never have been charged for what his lawyers described as an unfortunate consequence of self-defense on June 14, 2020. During the murder trial, Wilson's girlfriend offered testimony consistent with initial reports that he fired off a warning shot. Get the fuck away from me. I don't want any trouble. Alright? After they felt threatened by the pickup truck while out for a late night trip to a fast food restaurant. The truck started swerving in tire lane. They started, going up and coming back, but stayed right there with us. She testified. This is his girlfriend now. Through tears. It says, I remember going on the rumble strips, and that's whenever Mark shot to kind of say, hey, leave us alone, just like I just stated. A warning shot. Get the fuck away from it. We just wanted to go get food. However, Rigdon, that's her name, did not corroborate the defense's claims that racist language was being shouted from the truck. When asked by the prosecution whether she heard any racist slurs, Rigdon responded simply, I didn't hear any, and claimed she was distracted by other things, which is plausible. It's possible. These motherfuckers fucking with you, like I said, it's possible. Alright, it says Rigdon, also testified that she urged Wilson to put his gun away and not use it. Rigdon's testimony, coupled with what the Statesboro Herald referred to as somewhat contradictory opinions from a prosecution and defense expert witnesses about key details about the shooting, likely sealed Wilson's fate with the jury. Alright, and I can't see why anyone in that same situation, alright, who knows, especially with this history that's connected to people like himself, not like his Edomite girlfriend, but with him. So there is a difference there, and it's not stretching. It's not reaching. All right. There's some who see this and like, well, you're just trying to make an excuse. No, not trying to make an excuse. All right. It wasn't you that was the primary target. It was him. Him because he was with her. All right. Johnson said he recognized from the outset that the case was a legal lynching. Johnson said Wilson didn't use his weapon in a way that was unlawful and thus should not have been convicted of any crime. Because Wilson was acquitted on all the charges he faced going into the trial, Johnson said there isn't a legal justification for his manslaughter conviction. That's the point. But I just wanted to read all that before then so you would see what point I'm trying to make here. Those charges he initially faced, they were thrown out. So what the fuck is he being sentenced to 10 years for? Continuing on, there is no felony to predicate this involuntary manslaughter charge. That's his lawyer. All right. Johnson's comments echoed his sentiments immediately following the verdict. If that option had been included as we asked and insisted, this jury would have found Mark guilty of the misdemeanor version of manslaughter, and Mark would be going home. But two things: we're in the state of Georgia, and a white girl died. There's no other way to look at it. There's no other conclusion you can arrive at. See how they can bend and twist things the way they want for you people that say, well, you have to, they've got laws on the books. No. This young man right here, and I think this is the third or fourth video I've done on this topic since it first happened. All right. Didn't do him any good. This is one of those. Let's see some comments here. I always like to do this. This is why these Edomites are promised no mercy at the end of the day. When you look into the Bible dictionary, it tells you the judgment of Edom. When you go to James 2 and 13, this is why the Most High hates these motherfuckers. All right, let's go there. This is James 2 and 13. All right, it says, let's see what this, the sin of partiality, that's the heading. Let's go to 13. It says, for he shall have judgment without mercy, that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. All right, let's look into that. And that's part of the Beatitudes, Matthew 5th chapter. The converse, or the opposite of, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. By contrast, what do you think is going to be shown toward the unmerciful? Exactly. It says, translate, the judgment which is coming on all of us shall be without mercy to him who have showed no mercy. All right. So, simple, straight to the point. And in his heart, these devils know it. All right. Let's see. Here's one. What a gross miscarriage of justice. No one wins here. All right. Yep, racist Statesboro. I went a little too far, Salaki. Let's see. All right, hold on. Let's see. Slocky, slocky. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that is horrible and wrong in every way possible. This is so wrong. Awful. Awful. So, and this is another good point. Nothing happened to the good old boy who was driving the truck. He should have to spend some time in jail. How unfair is this? Mark should be able to walk a free man. Good old boy judges. Yep. So what does that mean? He has to serve 10? No, 8, because he was already in there. He never went home after he was arrested, so he's been behind bars the whole time. Let's see. This is just awful. What the actual hell? Blasphemy. So see. This is insane. Wow. Disgusting. And here's this asshole here, and there's a 17-year-old girl dead, and you are all screaming racism and have no respect for humanity. Well, her decision to be with a bunch of assholes, that's a decision she made. Don't feel sorry for her. Alright? I pray that's appealed. This is from SWAC, man. It says, racism by whites in this timeline tells us, like Maya Angelou used to say, who they really are. Yeah, it's just simmering beneath the surface there. S.L. Purvis says, so-called black people can't defend themselves in stand your ground law, but can be killed when others use it and they go free. That's the point I was trying to make from the get-go. What the max? I knew it. Sick, racist Bullitt County. Look at this. Bottle and bond. Good. Society can sleep better tonight. He got off easy. Hopefully they lose the key to the cell he gets tossed in. They tried to fucking lynch him. Kaylee Hutchison tried to lynch him. Alright. Judge Ronnie Thompson sentenced a young man defending himself to 10 years in prison. This legal system is sociopathic. Yep. That's the judge right there, the red bastard. Look at him. Look at this motherfucker. Look at him. Yep, that's a good old boy. Red motherfucker. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. You know, goddamn shame, man. Damn shame. It's only, I'm thinking of in recent years. I remember this kid, where was it, Milwaukee? All he did was kiss a girl. He got 12 years. I mean, it's on tape and everything. They're trying to say that, he raped her and all this shit. And they proved there was no time, but he still got 12 years. In short, we need to get the fuck up out of here. It's no rest for us here, as we always say. Micah 2 and 10, and you read Hebrews 11 and 14, Hebrews 13, because at this time, when we study our ancient history, we're like, well, fuck, if we knew we were going to go through all this, we would have done what was necessary to never been tossed out of our, original homeland, as what Hebrews 11 and 14 and 15 imply, but it's too late. These things we have to go through. All right, so with that, I hope whoever reviews this is edified. This is a fucking shame, but this is America. This young man, he's 23 now. He's been locked up since he was 21. He's got 8 more to go, according to this. So, hey, till next video, shalom.